Good evening, viewers. My name is Betty Ayi, your Eagle Banker. Welcome to today's episode on Time with your Banker and Financial Advisor. With me today in the studio is Mr. Godfred Cudjoe. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for watching Time with your Banker and Financial Advisor. Mr. Godfred Cudjoe, from Financial Stability Department of Bank of Ghana. Good evening.
Good evening.
Now the greetings goes this way.
Thank you. Good evening.
You are welcome
Thank
on
you
the
very
program.
much.
Mr. Cudjoe, we know that Bank of Ghana is one of the regulators of the financial sector. Can you talk about the other regulatory bodies of the financial sector?
And thank you for having me. The financial sector in Ghana is made up of 4 regulatory bodies. We have 4 sectors with 4 regulatory bodies. We have the National Insurance Commission that is responsible for regulating or supervising the insurance sector. So insurance companies are regulated by the National Insurance Commission. We also have the Securities and Exchange Commission as a regulator, which is also responsible for regulating the securities industry. Then we have the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, which is responsible for regulating the pension industry as well. Then we have the Bank of Ghana, which is responsible for the banking sector. So specifically, the Bank of Ghana is in charge of supervising all banks, all savings and loans companies, finance houses. We have rural and community banks. Bank of Ghana is also responsible for regulating forex bureaus. We also have credit reference bureaus. And then we also have payment service providers, including mobile money operators, and then financial technology companies, that is often referred to as fintech. So these are the institutions that are under the supervision or regulated by the Bank of Ghana.
Yeah, Mr. Cudjoe, you mentioned fintech, financial technology companies. Yeah, what about them and how are they related to issues concerning monetary transactions, especially with Bank of Ghana?
Okay, let me mention that the financial institutions or the banks, the services that they provide, they do get some support from some companies in trying to deliver their services and products to customers. And so, for example, now you can transfer money from your mobile money account to your bank account. That is that services that the banks would afford you to do are behind the scenes provided by the financial technology companies. So what these institutions do is to support the banks in their provision of digital services to their customers. And I think that they were not institutions that were formally regulated by Bank of Ghana. They were on their own, but the Bank of Ghana thought it wise that they needed to bring these institutions under the regulatory umbrella so that their activities that interface with customers would be regulated, all in effort to protect the customer.
From what you've indicated, Bank of Ghana regulates financial institutions. How about the customer? Because the customers are the consumers of financial products. So if Bank of Ghana is regulating the financial institutions, how is the interest of the customer taken into consideration?
So the Bank of Ghana has a mandate, and I have mentioned earlier that we regulate the financial institutions to make sure that the financial institutions or the banking institutions comply with any law that the Bank of Ghana has put up. But again, I will have to mention that if the customers are not there, then of course the banks will also not be there, as well as the Bank of Ghana. And so the interest of customers is very, very important for the Bank of Ghana. And I think it is in the same spirit that the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institution Act, that is the law that the Bank of Ghana uses to regulate or supervise banks, mandates the Bank of Ghana to ensure that customers' interests are protected. By this, we mean that once you are a customer of a bank or a financial institution, you ought to be protected. Your interest has to be protected. All the things that the Bank of Ghana needs to do to ensure that you are treated fairly are done. And so the interests of customers are also a mandate of the Bank of Ghana.
But how would a customer even know that a particular bank is being regulated by or supervised by the central bank?
So every institution that is licensed by Bank of Ghana is provided with a license. And so the requirement is that once you go into a banking institution or within the banking hall, it is expected that the bank or the banking institution will display its license conspicuously. And what we mean is that it has to be immediately you enter the banking hall. That is one of the things that you need to cite within the banking hall. And so we expect that every customer that wants to deal with any of our licensed institutions, you should definitely look out for a license. And of course, if you cannot, you will not be able to cite the license, you can also contact the Bank of Ghana before you do any business with any bank, with the aim of finding out if that institution is licensed by the Bank of Ghana. So this is what we expect customers to be doing.
So that means that every financial institution operating in the country must be licensed. So if a financial institution is not licensed, what does Bank of Ghana do?
So the expectation is that within the financial sector space, like I mentioned earlier, it's a regulated environment. And so depending on the sector that you'd want to move into, be it insurance or the securities or exchange industry or the banking industry, you ought to have a license. So like we mentioned, you need to look out for a license before you deal with that institution. And so if an institution that calls itself a financial institution does not have a license from any of the regulated institutions regulatory institutions that I have mentioned, then you don't have to do any business with them. And of course, you do that at your own risk.
So the licenses you are talking about must be displayed.
Exactly so.
In all the branches of financial institutions or banks.
Exactly so.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Cudjoe. What are the measures put in place by Bank of Ghana in their supervisory role over the financial institution concerning customers' interest?
Okay, so as I indicated, the Bank of Ghana has a mandate clearly in law to ensure that customers' interests are protected. And so what the bank has done is to put in additional measures. So the bank has put out directives, consumer protection directives, or directives for the banks to comply, directives that are geared towards ensuring that customers' interests are protected. So for example, the bank has issued a guideline or a directive on consumer recourse mechanism. And of course, that goes to address issues that a customer will have against a bank. What are the redress mechanisms that are in place for you to seek redress when you have any issue with a banking institution? What the bank has also done is to ensure that all the licensed institutions have improved on their transparency and disclosures. And so we have a directive as well that ensures that whatever dealings a bank or a financial institution have with a customer or their customers, they need to ensure that they disclose every information to the customer, and they need to be transparent, all geared towards ensuring that they deal fairly with the customers. And so there's a directive to that effect. And so hitherto, we have instances where customers will not be aware of the terms and conditions in some of the products that they sign up with the banks. But now it's mandatory. You have to disclose every single fees and charges, all terms and conditions, be it loan or be it an account that you have with a bank. They need to disclose every information, and that the Bank of Ghana is seriously ensuring that banks will do that. And again, I would also have to say that the bank has also improved upon its financial literacy responsibility. And so the bank has done a lot of literacy. All this geared towards empowering our consumers or consumers of the banking sector We are coming from an angle where if the customers are empowered, no bank or no financial institution licensed by the Bank of Ghana will treat them unfairly. Of course, if a bank is providing a service to you and then you know yourself that this is not what the bank is supposed to do, you can quickly draw the bank's attention, or probably even the Bank of Ghana's attention. And so the bank of late have been very engaging, either the public or the media, just to ensure that customers or the public or the general public are aware of the dealings of the Bank of Ghana, as well as customers knowing their rights and responsibilities within the banking space.
Yes, you said customers should be informed about fees and charges. In what way? Because most of the time a customer wants something from a bank. For instance, he wants a facility loan. Sometimes documents are just given to the customer, he just signs. Most of these customers are also not well educated. So how do you ensure that before a customer appends his signature, he or she knows what exactly he's signing?
So I think this is a shared responsibility. There's a responsibility on the bank, as I said, or the licensed institution, to ensure that they would disclose every detail within the agreement or within the transaction that they are engaging with the customer. But of course, there's a responsibility also on you, the customer, to ensure that whatever you are going to sign up to, whatever you are penning your signature to, indeed you understand what you are penning your signature to. And so it's part of the literacy that we try to do all the time, to let customers know that before, for example, a credit facility, you sign a loan offer, you should understand the terms and conditions. You should understand what the bank is offering you. For any reason you don't understand, we always say that you need to get somebody to explain to you. Of course, if the bank explains and you don't understand, we expect that you even take the document home and get somebody who really understands it to explain to you before you sign. But again, we have also, in our directives that I've mentioned, we have indicated that for any reason the customer does not understand whatever language is being used in the transaction, the bank or the financial institution has a responsibility of explaining the terms and conditions in the local dialect for the customer to understand before they sign any document with a bank.
So what if a bank or your license, any of your licensed institutions does not comply?
If any of our financial institutions breaches any of the regulations in the space of protecting the consumer, there are sanctions that are involved. And so, and that Bank of Ghana takes it very serious. And so we have a number of institutions that breach our regulations in this space, and then they get sanctioned.
Would their license be withdrawn, or in what way? Because we are talking about empowering the customer, at the same time protecting the customer.
So there are various sanctions available to the Bank of Ghana, but I think I need to mention that per the law that we work with, if you breach any of our directives, it comes with a penalty. So depending on what the penalty is, and of course that can be computed in amount, that in a corresponding value amount for the banks to pay. So in the first, when they breach, it's in monetary terms. That is the first time they breach is monetary terms, and any other, if they persistently breach our provisions or any of our laws, then all the other sanctions follows.
Viewers, we've been having a very interesting discussion. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for watching Time with Your Banker and Financial Advisor. Mr. Godfred Cudjoe, you spoke about fees and charges. Sometimes you realize that one goes for their statement, and there are charges on the statement that has not been communicated to the customer. For instance, a bank can just get up one day and decide that it is increasing its maintenance charge or cost of turnover on the accounts charge or has inculcated new policy whereby electronic banking is compulsory. So the cost must be shared amongst customers, but this has not been communicated to the customer. How about that?
So I think this practice is what I have mentioned that the Bank of Ghana's directives frowns upon. So we have indicated that in our disclosure directives that if you're a licensed institution and you anticipate of changing your tariffs, it's important that you notify all your customers. And I think that we have seen an improvement in that.
Is it in writing? Because sometimes there is virtually no communication.
So I think it's important for us to note that in the account opening documents that we sign up to, what we have asked or what we have directed is that all those requirement has to be stipulated in the account opening document. Of course, a bank would say that when they want to do any change, they'll probably send you an email or they will make the changes and then paste it in their banking hall. So that communication will be done within the account opening documents.
Must the changes be made before communicated, or communication must go before changes are made?
So as I indicated, the expectation or what they are required to do is to notify the customers ahead of the changes that are made. But I think that we also, like we always do, we try to advise customers that although we are in a sector where prices are not dictated for the financial institutions, it is our expectation that customers would try and shop around. By shopping around, what I mean is that if a financial institution is offering you a service, it's our expectation that, or what we always talk about is that try and seek advice from any other financial institution. So, for instance, if a bank is giving you a loan and giving you at a particular interest rate or terms and conditions, the expectation is that you go to another financial institution and also present your offer or present your application for them to also give you their offer. Then you can compare the two of them or probably three of them to see which one will really fit your expectation. Once we do that, of course, it is going to challenge the financial institutions to say that if their prices are not competitive enough, customers would easily move to another financial institution. And in that same vein, what the Bank of Ghana has done is that now the Bank of Ghana has been publishing the prices or the fees and charges of all the banks in the country. And that can be, it's readily available on the Bank of Ghana's website, where we have displayed all the various products and services that the banks would offer together with their charges and their fees. So what consumers of the financial sector will have to do is to take hold of this document, compare the prices. If it's about COT, you want to find out which of the banks have a lower COT. If it's about interest rate, which banks has a lower interest rate. If it's about e-services, which bank has the cheapest of them. So we expect that customers would get hold of some of these documents or some of these practices so that they will get the best offer. It is not that once you are with a particular bank, whatever rate it is offering you, because you say that is your bank, you stick to them. We need to make sure that at least we have compared the offer with other financial institutions or other licensed institutions before we can go in for any offer that they give us.
Yes, because Mr. Cudjoe, you are talking about Bank of Ghana website where various rates or prices of financial institutions are kept or displayed. How many people, in our sector, it's even difficult reading newspapers, let alone going to website. Well, can you put in other measures, something that is more flexible, so that the layman or the ordinary customer who doesn't have let me put it, if I say too much, education, so that person too can have access to these rates.
Okay, so
apart from that also, you are saying that the customer must compare. So if this information is communicated in a way that the customer can understand, I think it will be very fair to them.
I think what customers of the banking industry will have to understand is banking services is more or less the same as if you want to buy furniture. Okay, the banks are offering a service to you. Same way, if you want to buy furniture, there are several companies that offer furniture. And of course, when you want to buy furniture, you move from one particular company to the other. All you are trying to do is for value, and then also you want the one that the prices are quite moderate. It's the same way when it comes to financial services or banking services. You have a responsibility. It is you, the individual or the customer, you are going in for a service. And of course, at the end of the day, if it is about the credit facility, you are going to pay. And so you need to find out the one that fits into your expectation or what you will be able to pay. So the responsibility is on you. And that's why we have said that the easiest out is for you to move from one financial institution to the other. Let them know that this is what I want. If it's a loan, I want this particular amount. What will be the interest rate on this particular figure? You move to another institution, you tell them about what you want, and they tell you that this is how much they are willing to offer. And I think this is very clear for everybody to be able to understand, and then you make a choice out of that.
You see, when it comes to loan, most financial institutions will want to have a track record, a form of history with you. So it becomes difficult for you or a customer to move from one bank to the other if you want to shop for pricing in terms of interest on the loan available, because the other banks don't have your records.
I think that's a very good point, but again, there's another infrastructure that the Bank of Ghana has provided. So like you said, hitherto, only the bank that you have taken a loan from is the only one who probably have your information or your track record. But with the introduction of the credit referencing system, that track record that you just mentioned is available to every financial institution. And so if you move to another financial institution and they want to know how well you have done with your previous loans, they can contact the credit reference bureaus and they'll be able to get that information. So that information that any bank would rely on to make a credit decision or to either to decide to give you the loan or not is readily available. And I have to say that now the credit market is very competitive. So you can see that now a number of our institutions are even advertising, they are going to the teachers, the nurses for loans. That is the point. So you realize that the banks need you to come and take a loan from them. And so that is also your power as a consumer to also make the right decision to say that I need you this bank, but I don't need this bank. So in all these, the power still lies upon the consumer.
Mr. Cudjoe, since Bank of Ghana is empowering the customer and seeking the interests of the customer, if a customer has complaints, how does the customer go about it?
Okay, so the Bank of Ghana has made provisions. I had indicated the recourse mechanism guidelines. So in the recourse mechanism guidelines, the Bank of Ghana has laid out the procedures that are available for every consumer of the banking industry that has any issue against any of our licensed institutions. I think that what we have said is that, first of all, every bank has to put in place a complaint system or the complaint mechanism system. And what we have also said is that if you are a consumer and you have any complaint against any of our financial institutions, we expect that you go to that financial institution first to lodge your complaint. Now, it is expected that the financial institution would take 20 working days to resolve that complaint for you. That is what the requirement is. Now, once that has been resolved, and for any reason you are not happy with that resolution, then you can proceed to the Bank of Ghana to make a complaint. Mr.
Cudjoe, what are the various complaint channels available to the customer?
So, in the provisions of the consumer recourse mechanism, the expectation is that every licensed institution would put in place complaint mechanism to be able to receive complaints from their customers. Now, the requirement is that if you are a customer of any of our licensed institutions and you have a complaint against any of the institution, what you are required to do is to first of all go to that particular institution to lodge your complaint. Now, once you lodge the complaint, the financial institution has within 20 working days to be able to resolve that complaint for you. Now, once that complaint has been resolved, then that is fine. But for any reason you are not happy about the resolution that you received, then the next recourse for you is to report the complaint to the Bank of Ghana. Now, in reporting the complaint to the Bank of Ghana, we have a number of channels that you can use. You can call us on phone, and you can call on 0302 66 505. That is 0302 66 505. Of course, if you want to, you can also reach us on email. And on email, you can send your complaints to complaints.office@bog.gov.gh. So the complaints is with an S. So complaints.office@bog.gov.gh. And of course, on WhatsApp, the Bank of Ghana has also provided a WhatsApp line or channel that you can also submit your complaint. And with the WhatsApp number, we have 059 6912 354. That's 059 6912 354 or 050 150 2270. Or you can come in person to the 7th floor of City House at the Financial Stability Department, 7th floor City House.
Where exactly is the City House located?
So the City House is located in Accra, and that is around the National Theatre. But of course, if you are within the regions, you don't need to come all the way to Accra. You can visit any of the regional branches of the Bank of Ghana, and that is in Kumasi, Takoradi. We have Tamale and Sefi, Boako and Kumasi. Any of these places, you can write your letter, and you can also post any of your complaints to us, to the head of Financial Stability Department, and we would have your complaint with us. And we, of course, we also have 20 days to resolve your complaint.
Thank you for coming on our show this evening, Mr. Godfred Cudjoe.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Viewers, this is where we'll end today's program On Time with your banker and financial advisor. I'm your host and presenter, Betty Ayi.